First, say you're mad. I mean,
Mad?
Yeah.
I am no longer a Democrat. I'm now a libertarian Republican. Because that's what a blue dog Democrat used to be. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
It's called executing, being accountable, enforcing, respect, responsibility, and results. Knowing what your job description is. Delivering results. Unifying. Making this country great. The great brand we have, okay?
In California, and a real testament to the power of investigative reporting. Eric Swallwell ending his campaign for California governor just about 48 hours after CNN and the San Francisco Chronicle both reported on allegations of sexual misconduct in his past. Taken together, the stories portrayed an abuse of power by the California congressman, who was, until Friday, a leading contender in the race to replace Gavin Newsom as governor.
You hear him? A testament to the power of investigative reporting. No, what it was is a testament to how sick and creepy and sneaky the Democrat Party is, because they're taking out one of their own because they knew that he was messing up the pool in the California gubernatorial election. That's my thoughts on it.
That's it. That's
you
it.
Talk about investigative reporting. Listen, bullshit. Shitty shit. What my boy say? Shit. Shit. He lives in DC. Swallwell lives here with his family in DC. He's renting a room in somebody's California townhouse to run for governor. And they knew that. It's been in that news cycle in California for more than 30 days. He's not even qualified to run. He's not. So this is much to do about nothing. And Stelter is the last person that should be reporting on anybody's sexual impropriety. Let's hope he had pants on when he was reporting this story, because exactly. We all know what happened.
Oh, yeah.
With Stelter. We all know that. Yeah.
Go ahead.
He's not the guy.
Right.
He's not the guy to report on sexual impropriety.
Look, I think the bigger takeaway, and the one thing I want to get in about Swallwell, which is unbelievable, is that this went from, it's funny, when Dan texted me, I just gotten off a plane, and I saw the Swallwell thing. And my first thing was, welcome to the party. We've been talking about Swallwell for a while. And then my wife texted me. I was like, have you seen the latest on Swallwell? And I realized how this thing had escalated. I cannot believe that we have gone from a place of, and by the way, and then you get Brian Stelter from CNN saying everybody's known about these rumors. And I'm like, so young women have been victimized and put at risk because of Swallwell, and nobody said anything about this? That says a lot about the media, by the way, that Brian Stelter saying everybody knew about these rumors and no one did a damn thing about it. I think that's an indictment on Brian Stelter, what the folks at CNN knew, what they didn't do to protect women. But I will say the Democratic Party, how brilliant this has been, that they've turned what was a huge thing about Stelter, and you noted this, Rachel, at the beginning, to now suddenly it's a 1-for-1. Well, we're going to expel someone from the Republican Party. I can't believe this. We expelled George Santos earlier this year on allegations alone. I think it was the right move, by the way. And now you've got Swallwell credibly accused, videos out there, and it's like the only way we'll expel Swallwell is if we can get one Republican. That's pretty pathetic.
Of course it is. But even beyond that, this is the monster of the Democrat Party's own making. As he mentioned, they knew about all this stuff and they just swept it under the rug. Shelley, what are your thoughts?
Well, he said, right, the Democrats. So he said this was the political part. They knew this. This is an extension to me of the Me Too. Like the media knew about all those women, the Stelters and whatever, the CNNs and all the others. They knew about all these women being what you saying, the R word, whatever the case is, sexually harassed for years. And then they want to take this high horse as if they are, they're suddenly the good guys and they're cleaning up their own. They're doing this for their own political continuation, their political power. That's all. This is not about them being so holy and righteous, but it's about the power, the prestige, keeping their status, and getting rid of Swallwell because he was now an anchor around their necks, and they need to keep going forward so they can keep reaching for the people's pockets to maintain their power. This is nothing more than that. They don't give a damn about his victims. They don't give a damn about his victims at all.
Even the way they describe it, and I have a little bit of a different take on that. The way they describe it is non-consensual touching. That's rape. That's what it is. It's rape. It's rape every day. What they alleged that Trump did is absolutely rape, right? That's what they described it as. But Swallwell in his non-consensual touching, non-consensual sex acts, the basic definition of rape. But I digress there. My thing is the reason why the Democrats threw him on the fire is so that we'll stop looking. So that we'll stop looking at all the rest of the candidates, right? So we'll stop investigating. They'll give us one or two, so we'll stop asking the questions. But again, I want to see the slush fund records. That's what I'd like to see. As an American taxpayer, I feel like I have the right to know how you're spending my money. I want to know how many boys and girls, young men and young women have been paid off because of quote unquote non-consensual touching, non-consensual sex acts. I'd very much like to know that. I'd like to know how many drunk driving tickets we've paid for. I want to know how many domestic violence things we've paid for. I want to know all of that. And I don't want to know because it's salacious gossip. You guys know I'm not that type of person. I want to know because I want to follow the money. I want to see if this is a pattern. And if it is a pattern, we ought to know so we can vote these jokers out of their seats. It is unconscionable. It makes me believe that Congress is not capable of policing itself. It's just not. You know, the Federalist Papers says if the government, if men were angels, we wouldn't need government. But since the men aren't angels, we absolutely need government. But what happens when men in government are absolute demons? And I don't mean men, just men, because some of the ladies are out here doing the damn thing too. Right. This has just gotten to a point where America wants to know. And I want to know how my money's being spent, who's gotten paid off, and how many other people are sleeping with Chinese spies.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's do that.
All right. We have I think we have another super chatter, folks. Thank you guys so much.
All right, Southern Charm, thank you for your $5 super chat. Cali is making fraud okay. The Nick Shirley bill is up for a vote to stop independent journalists from reporting, investigating, questioning anything. I heard a little bit of that, but thank you for your super chat, Southern Charm.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I heard about that too. It's ridiculous. They don't want this stuff uncovered, folks. This is why they hated Doge. This is why they hated it so much. They don't want this stuff uncovered. They want to keep the gravy train going. All right. Let's keep going on this. Wow, folks, you guys are on fire in this chat, folks. I see you going back and forth about Catholicism. It looks like, folks, I did a whole series on this on my Christian Conservative channel at KJ Christian Conservative. We delve deep into Catholicism, into Protestantism, and all sorts of stuff. So it's definitely, and the Pope. We delved deep into the Pope and everything from a Christian conservative viewpoint. So certainly check me out on at KJ Christian Conservative, and you go to the video section, and you should see all of the stuff we did on that.
The 25th Amendment, obviously J.D. Vance is not the guy to do it. This cabinet is not going to do it. But your colleague, Ro Khanna, who I spoke to earlier this week, was talking about the need for a moral position and moral conviction in taking that position as opposed to just realistically whether or not it would happen.
Oh, absolutely. I said that a week ago, that we should invoke the 25th Amendment. As you point out, that is something that, unfortunately, by the process we have, and there was actually a bill that was introduced, I think it was last session, by Jamie Raskin to change that process, by the way, should we ever get control of the House back. But right now, invoking the 25th Amendment requires the vice president and then requires him to get a majority of the cabinet. And so I have taken the position that we need to do whatever we can to get him out, impeach him, invoke the 25th Amendment, push for him to resign, whatever it is.
That's what I said. Let me tell you guys something. We sit as the Republicans in Congress and even in the White House. They generally play by the rules, okay? But the Democrats do not. All right. And I don't put anything past them. They've talked about stacking the Supreme Court. Now you heard her say they're talking about changing the 25th Amendment in order to get President Trump out. If they win these seats in Congress, I don't put anything past them. They are going to try their damnedest to get him impeached. And I mean removed from office. So you guys can sit on down and think this isn't going to happen. This is coming if we don't get out here and vote.
No, they're not going to try. They're going to do it. They are going to do it. And they will stack the court. Now, the only saving grace is, right, at least I'll say only, but if they remove President Trump, JD Vance automatically becomes president. They're going to attempt to do something to keep him out of the office too, because if they have the majority, particularly in the Senate, that's where if they have the majority in the Senate, that's it. And if we have a close margin, if you will, a smaller margin between both houses, nothing's going to get done. Nothing is going to get done. All that we have accomplished and that we need to still do is not going to happen. The next 2 years, this is why I say, I'm going to say it. I know you all disagree with me in that way. I don't think President Trump is, from a human perspective, because he's not going to be in office. Politically, I think he wants to win. I agree there. He does want to win politically. I'm just thinking from a human perspective, at least right now, I don't see, again, he's not making it easy. Let me say it. He's not making it easy for his side to defend, not just him, to even defend our positions. He's just not. I'm not saying him personally.
He's done the exact same thing before.
That's okay. I hope I'm wrong, but I'm talking about going into the midterms. It's very sketchy right now. These jokers will come in and upset, invent, create, whatever, manipulate, whatever they have to do to get him out of office.
Yeah. So the saving grace is our founding document, right? The Declaration of Independence. Listen, it is what it is. There's no changing that. There's no way that anybody, especially her, does not have the pull. I don't think there's a person sitting outside of Donald Trump that could rally 2/3 of any of the states. I don't think that they have that issue, especially for a lame duck president who's got 2 years left. And when all of this happens, a year and some change left. So they are being hyperbolic, but this is what happens when you take toys from toddlers. We've taken their toys. They've taken a bright spotlight and shined it on how the Democrat machine runs. All of the fraud, all of the waste, all of the abuse. And they're saying, okay, yes, especially California, here's fraud. You see the fraud, but we're going to make it illegal for you to report on it. Not we're going to fix the problem and stop stealing your money. No. We just don't want you to know any more about it. And as an American, that should set your hair on fire. It really should. And you know who else it should bother greatly? People who are here, quote unquote, illegally, who are paying taxes. That would kind of rub me the wrong way. I didn't risk life and limb to sneak into this country. I'm hiding beneath the shadows. I'm paying my taxes out of my paycheck. And y'all still stealing my damn money? I mean, that would be, for me, I'd go back home. I'd take my chances back in my home nation. It's just who I am. But they're doing this to us purposely, and shining a light on what they've done has upset the apple cart. They're all very angry.